I still remember the moment when my world turned upside down. It was a typical Saturday afternoon, and I was mindlessly scrolling through my phone, half listening to the background noise of the television. That's when I stumbled upon something that made my heart sink. A post on social media caught my eye. Brittany, my fiancé's best friend, was out with another man, and the way they were interacting was far too intimate to be just friends. I felt a knot tighten in my stomach as I took a screenshot. In that instant, I knew I had just caught her in the act of infidelity. With a heavy heart, I showed the photo to my fiancée, expecting her to be just as shocked as I was. I imagined we would confront Brittany together, maybe even devise a plan to address this betrayal. But instead, I was met with an unexpected reaction. My fiancée's face twisted with disbelief and anger as she looked at the image. Instead of confronting the situation, she insisted that I delete the photo and ignore it entirely. "We can't ruin Brittany's life over this," she said, her voice trembling with urgency. It was clear that her loyalty to Brittany overshadowed the reality of the situation. I was taken aback. How could she prioritize a friend's infidelity over the values of honesty and integrity that I held dear? As days turned into weeks, the conflict within me grew. I felt like I was living in a pressure cooker, my emotions boiling over as I grappled with the implications of what I had witnessed. I loved my fiancée deeply, yet I began to question her values. How could someone I cared for overlook such a betrayal? It felt like a fundamental clash of ethics, loyalty to a friend versus honesty in a relationship. I couldn't shake the feeling that if she could ignore this, what else would she be willing to overlook in the name of friendship? The tension escalated when I finally mustered the courage to voice my concerns. I told her that I believed Brittany's husband had the right to know the truth, that he deserved to be informed about the betrayal happening right under his nose. My fiancée's response was swift and severe. She warned me that if I went through with it, our relationship would be over. The ultimatum hit me hard. It felt like a dagger twisting in my heart. I was being forced to choose between the woman I wanted to spend my life with and doing what I believed was right. After a few sleepless nights, wrestling with my conscience, I made my decision. I couldn't live with myself knowing that I had evidence of betrayal and chose to remain silent. So, I reached out to Brittany's husband, sharing the truth about what I had witnessed. The fallout was immediate and intense. He was devastated when he heard my words, and I could feel the weight of the consequences of my actions pressing down on me. But I held my ground, believing that honesty was worth the pain it might cause. In the days that followed, I watched as Brittany's life unraveled. Her husband filed for divorce, and the fallout began to spread like wildfire. I could almost feel the shock waves of her betrayal reverberating through their social circle. Meanwhile, my relationship with my fiancée was strained to the breaking point. She was furious with me, and the distance between us grew like an insurmountable chasm. All the dreams we had built together began to crumble, and I couldn't ignore the nagging doubts that had taken root in my mind. If she could dismiss such a significant moral breach, what would our future hold? Eventually, the inevitable happened. The tension became unbearable, and we had an emotional confrontation that left us both shattered. I was standing in our living room, my heart racing, as I tried to explain my perspective. But all she saw was betrayal. My betrayal of her loyalty to Brittany. I knew then that the love we had shared was now tainted, not just by Brittany's actions, but by the choices we had both made. I broke up with her, realizing that I could not compromise my values for the sake of maintaining a relationship. In the aftermath, I reflected on what had transpired. I had learned that infidelity erodes trust not just between partners, but within the very fabric of friendships. I pondered the importance of moral integrity and the difficult choices we must sometimes make to uphold it. While the pain of losing my fiancée weighed heavily on my heart, I found solace in knowing I had chosen to stand for what was right, even when it came at a great personal cost. The journey was painful, but it also allowed me to understand the depth of my own values and the importance of staying true to them, no matter the circumstances.